Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you all very much for joining into this session. Can you please let us know in the chat box where you are joining in from? I'd like to know where every one of us is joining in from. We have a whole lot of us on this session, and it promises to be a very interesting one. I mean, we really hope to have a very, very insightful session with our speaker today, who will take us through how we can do well with our accounting and our businesses, knowing our numbers right in our businesses and getting everything right. My name is Fumi. I would be standing in for our moderator before she joins in. And this is one of the programs that we do at LSETF. We not just at LSETF give you funds for your businesses, we as well bring to you programs that would help you in getting it right with your businesses. So that the more you get it right with your businesses, the more the ecosystem of the business ecosystem in Lagos thrives. So thank you all very, very much for joining in. We have a whole lot of people. We have people from Alimosho, Bejuleki, Ganiat from Alimosho. Thank you very much. Thank you, Linda. We see you. Thank you all very much for joining in. Thank you very, very much. I mean, we can do better. I can only see a few people here. Thank you. Thank you, Kehinde from Ijayi. Yes, I see you. Thank you so much. Yes, all the way from Misheri. Thank you. Oh, yes, Ainde from Badagry. Abdul from Badagry. Thank you very, very much. Thank you all so much for joining in. Like I said earlier, it promises to be a very insightful session. You're going to be taking back a whole lot of information that we believe would help your businesses. And while we are going to start right away by inviting our speaker for today, we have two speakers. We have this, our speaker, Jovita Madojemo, and we also have an in-house person, Dr. Akim Onosoya, who would also be taking us through on LSETF grant. I am sure we all want to know that, as well as understand our accounting models, which our speaker, Jovita, will be taking us through that. I would advise every one of us to please take our pen and paper. This promises to be interactive, insightful, educational. You're really not going to get this anywhere. Please get your pen, get your pencil, get your paper, and get your numbers right. Thank you very much. I have here with me Jovita Madojemo. She's going to be the one to take us through this session. Jovita is an accountant, and Jovita does a whole lot in the accounting sphere, and she's here to put us through and engage us, teach us on our numbers. I believe that we're really going to be getting a whole lot from Jovita this morning, and that's why I'm advising that everyone should just get set. Jovita, you're welcome. Thank you very, very much for being on the session. Thank you. Over to you, Jovita.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Port Harcourt. Good morning, Nigeria. And if you're joining us from wherever in the world, good morning. Thank you. Thank you for joining in so early. This is amazing. I'm happy that we're not doing African time. We have 180 plus people in the room, and it's not even 11 a.m. yet. So amazing. Thank you all for being a part of this session today. And as Fumi has said, you need to get your pen, you need to get your paper. This is not that presentation where you just be nodding your head. There are things you will have to do. There's several information you have to note down. And there are some illustrations that you would have to participate in, because the truth of the matter is, at the end of today, what's going to be different? That's what you have to ask yourself. What is going to be different? Some of you have attended this kind of sessions before and things didn't change. So what's going to be different today is the fact that, number one, you're going to pay more attention than you previously have. And I will say also, stay hydrated, get a bottle of water beside you so you're not feeling like, oh, you're taking in so much and your head is about to explode because this woman is saying so many things at once, right? So we have, I mean, not too long a time, but I am going to try and do justice to the time, because what's more important is what you do after this session. I'll say that again. What is more important is what you do after this session. Now, I agree with you that you need funding for your business, you need grants, you need loans, you need money, you need the money to keep coming in. But the question is, are you ready? What have you done with the monies that you even started the business with? What have you done with the revenue that you generated over time? And that's why you're here, because I want to point you in the direction of what I've called mastering your business numbers. And there are several factors that contribute to this. So even before I go into the slides, I just want to even get you ready, right? There are interesting things that you'll be seeing today. The question is, what will you do with those things? The other thing I want you to get out of your mind is, I don't like figures. Hello, you are a businessman. Like Warren Buffett would say, accounting is the language of business. So I come to you and I'm interested in your business. And I say, okay, so how have you fared? And you tell me, oh, we are doing fine. That means nothing to me. I want to know, okay, quarter one, what was your revenue? In Naira and Kobo, since we're in Nigeria, right? What was your revenue? What was your gross profit? What was your net profit? At the end of the day, what was your bottom line? Okay, so if you compare January this year to January last year, what is different? Do you have that information? That is why we are here, because we want to open our minds to the fact that business performance is measured in figures, and it starts from how you track your transactions, what you know as bookkeeping. And we're not talking about you having several notebooks. That's the dark ages. We've moved beyond that. So I'm going to be sharing several things that I hope will trigger a change in behavior for you as an entrepreneur, a change in behavior, a change in how you handle your activities as a business owner, a change in how alert you are to what's going on in your business. And it's not a function of mood swings. So whether I'm happy today or I'm sad or things are good or things are bad, I will pay attention to what's going on in my business. I will give the full cooperation in terms of tracking my business numbers and gaining a mastery thereof. So that said, all of that is just to please try and fix, like I said, the mindset, get your mind ready for all the information you're going to be taking in today. So we say, get a pen, get paper, and I added, get water, stay hydrated so that you're feeling good and refreshed as you're taking all of this in. If you want to eat too well, as long as you don't get distracted, go ahead and do that. All right. So just before I joined this session, and true story, that was about 10:15, I got a call from someone I've known from church a while back. So I've changed churches now, but she's been following my journey, my business journey. And she said, Jovita, I don't know where my money is going to. I've been in business for over 3-4 years, and I don't know where my money is going to. Now, that question is a very, very familiar question, right? Very, very familiar complaint. It's a complaint. I don't know where my money is going to. Where is it going to? The year was 2018, and a particular customer, or rather, she was a prospect at the time, not yet a customer, and she approached us at Pundit, and she said, please, I don't know where my money is going to. I need to know where my money is going to. Familiar, right? It's a pattern. Many business owners are struggling with that. I need to know where my money is going to. Where is my money going to? And so we said to her, okay, we'll need all your bank statements, and we'll be asking you questions as we're looking through the transactions, and we'll prepare for you your statement of profit or loss and your balance sheet, and we will see the pattern and tell you what really is going on in your business. Now, the other thing you need to know is that at that time, she was looking for about 5 million to move to a new store in Lekki Phase 1 to rent. It was a rent. She was looking for that particular rent. And it seemed like, I've been doing this business and I can't even pay 5 million in rent. What is going on? So guess what? By the time we had gone through the last 6 months accounts, we've gone through all the numbers, looked through the bank statement without questions. So because sometimes some of the things won't have proper narration, so find out, so we noticed this transaction, what were they for? And she'll tell us, okay, this, that. So by the time we aggregated everything, over 11 million naira in 6 months had gone to her personal expenses. But she was saying she didn't know where her money was going to. And it didn't all happen at once. 50,000 here, 100,000 there. 50,000 here, 60,000 here, 80,000 here, and all of that. Okay, so it was a revelation. There was no way she was going to know if we didn't come in to start tracking what had happened, right? And here she was looking for 5 million to pay rent. Meanwhile, 11 million had gone into different personal things that she had done in 6 months. It wasn't even a year. I'm hoping you're following me, because before I get into all of the slides and everything, I just want you to understand what's going on with business owners. That was 11 million. An additional 3.5 million plus we traced to gifts, you know, and we kept asking her, okay, there's this money to Bishola Jones. What was it for? Actually, yeah, she needed something. He had a situation, I had to give him money. And I'm like, and here you are looking for 5 million to get a new rent space in a good location that will trigger your business sales to be better than what it is right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of the typical entrepreneur, right? We're not tracking, and so we do not know where to make the controls. But I'm glad to say that by the time we brought those figures to her, it was a deciding moment. It was a moment of revelation. It was also a deciding moment where she said, whoa, I need to now be more disciplined. I need to be able to even pay myself a salary. And we said, yes, that's it. Because even if you were working in a tier 1 bank, no matter what your salary is, once it's done, it's done. And you wait for the next period for your salary to come. So the fact that you see money in the business account doesn't mean you just keep taking it like an unlimited well. You know, keep drawing until there's nothing to draw anymore. Right, I know I'm busting some people's bubbles right now, but it's a reality. That's what's happening. And today, we want to change that. We want to be able to change all of that behavior. We want you to be more conscious of what's going on in your business. We want you to take control of your numbers. We want you to take control of your spending. We want you to use money and multiply it as revenue and ultimately as profit, right? Because when you are committed, when you get someone's money, you want to be able to use it for the purpose for which it was given to you. And that's why we are here. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I will now go into my slides, and I'm hoping that we are all going to pay attention to this. So quickly, if you can see the slides, can you just put it in the chat box that I can see? I want to be sure that we're following. If you can see the slides, just say I can see the slides. I'm waiting. Yes, you can see, Thank you, Benga, thank you, Rose. Awesome, okay, that's fine. So, mastering your business numbers, that's why we're here today, to go through all of this. And very quickly, I'll just take you through what I've been about. So I am a chartered accountant certified with the ACCA, the Association for Chartered Certified Accountants, and it's a UK global body. I founded Pondit Bookkeeping Services in 2016, but before then, of course, I had a journey. So I started out as an accounting trainee in a mid-sized audit firm, like the Robbins & Co. I also went to Diamond Bank as SMA banker, where I worked with several SMEs for a number of years. And that was before I now left there to now start Pondit Bookkeeping Services in 2016. So I work with several businesses and not-for-profits, and I've been featured on several platforms, TV, radio, newspaper, etc., because I'm advocating for financial intelligence for the business owner. In March 2019, I was recognized by Business Day as one of Nigeria's 50 most inspiring women. And I am doing this talk with you guys today, not just to inspire you, but to transform your businesses. I want to say thank you again for all that you do in your share in building the nation. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. And what you are doing here today is supposed to help your business be more sustainable so that we can continue to employ people in our state, in our nation, and have a more robust economy. So I will say stay tuned with me. I will try not to bore you as we begin to look at a number of things. Now, there are several things you could look at today, but I will just pick on, some key salient things so that you can apply them. And then later on, you could always send emails if there are questions you want to deep dive into. If we can't take all of them in the question and session, answer. So let's pay attention as we continue. Now, I just told you a story about a certain business owner looking for 5 million to pay rent when she had spent 11 million on herself in 6 months, right? So the questions here are introspective questions, and they're for you to answer on your own. How do you notify customers of services rendered? Because we want to first look at how do you even track transactions? How do you track transactions? I know a number of us like WhatsApp, but you see, you need to go beyond WhatsApp. When a sale has been made, do you issue a receipt? Do you even issue an invoice? That's what we're saying here. How do you notify customers of service rendered or products sold? How do you track payments made by your customers? The third question is the one that a number of us are still struggling with. Do you have a dedicated bank account for your business? And that also dovetails into the fourth question, which says, do you run personal transactions through your business account? Moment of truth, right? Do you run personal transactions through your business account? Now, let's be honest with ourselves, okay? We need to ensure that we have a dedicated bank account for the business. That's actually one of the key things if you're trying to get your bookkeeping and accounting right for your business. Open a dedicated bank account for that business. And by dedicated, we mean the only things that happen in that bank account are what? Business related. I'm not going to look at your business account and see that you have transferred money to Sade for your hair. I'm not going to look at your business account and see that you have sent money to the restaurant for the food that you've eaten for yourself personally. I'm not going to look at your bank account, your business account, and see that you've sent money to the village to take care of people's problems. That shouldn't happen in your business account. Your business account should be strictly for business. So we see all the sales that relate to the business passing through that bank account. And we see all the expenses that relate to the business passing through that bank account. And so we're saying to you that when you need to do your own personal things, you need to actually pay yourself a salary. It goes into that your business, your personal account. And from your personal account, you can send money to your makeup artist. You can send money to your personal trainer. You can send money to the kids for their feeding. You can do all of your personal things through the personal account. If you don't get this discipline right, if you do not get this right, then everything is going to become a mass of jumbles. Even if you engage my company today, we're just going to have a nightmare trying to make out what's going on in your business because you've jumbled everything together. Yes, it will be done. It will be painful. It will be painful to you, painful to us, but it could have been avoided if you decided to do this from the onset. So if you have not started doing this, then thank you for coming today because you have heard something that you need to go back and start doing because it is, like I said, a key factor in tracking your business accounting, your business and your bookkeeping and accounting for your business properly. If you want to get it right with bookkeeping and accounting for your business, then you must separate personal expenses from the business by having distinct bank accounts for both scenarios. So I will move on now. Now, if you have your questions, please just note them. There will be a time for question and answer so that we can maximize the time that we have here today. And I'm conscious that we can have a timer on, so I will not exceed my time. Okay, so transaction tracking and filing, we're still on it. Do you keep source documents? I said something earlier. Please, we've passed the age of, we cannot be doing our business just by sharing WhatsApp messages with our clients. We need to do better than that. We need to do better than that. So here are 3 key source documents that I want to emphasize, and I will show you pictorial representations of them so that if for any reason you think you're not familiar with it, then your memory will be jogged again by the time I show it to you. All right. So invoices, they are issued to customers when a service is rendered, one item is purchased. Now, I know that sometimes we try to use them interchangeably, but they are two very different things. So the invoice is an evidence that a transaction has taken place, that a service has been rendered, that the product has been purchased, but it is not an evidence of payment. It is not an evidence of payment. The invoice just shows that a service has been rendered or an item has been purchased. And so you move to the next thing, which is what the receipts. The receipts are issued to customers when payment is received for the item sold or service rendered. Again, a customer can even decide to pay you in advance. You are not going to issue him an invoice. What you'll be issuing to him is a receipt, because cash has been collected. So a receipt evidences cash collected or cash transferred or check received that has cleared or whatever, but it shows money has changed hands. That's what the receipt does. Now, I know that for some people, they use an invoice and they feel that that's the end. No, it is improper practice. And here we are trying to get ourselves to do the right thing. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. So even though it's a free session, we want to take it seriously, because even if you paid $1,000 to an institute, they will still tell you this same thing. So you need to take it seriously and apply it in your business. Okay. So payment vouchers. What are payment vouchers? And this one is even critical, not just even for tracking your business, but even when the tax authorities decide to come to you and say they want to do a tax audit. They've seen the monies you've paid to them, but they want to see evidence that, okay, you've actually paid the right thing. And part of that is seeing people that you've been making payments to. And the voucher for them is what they call a third-party evidence, because it shows, one, the amount you've paid, it shows the name of the person that received it, it shows who authorized it, it shows all of that, you know, the purpose, the narration. And then when there's a supporting document, you attach it to that voucher. So if, for instance, somebody was paid $100,000 to do advertising for your company, that person's invoice will be attached to the payment voucher by the time you are paying. And so the tax guys can say, okay, it really went to these people. It's not like they use the money for something personal and then they did not now add it to their personal income tax, accessible income, right? So they are looking for physical documents. They want to check, they want to validate the transactions that are going on in your business. You are not going to be showing them WhatsApp chats. And so I'm trying to break that today, that you need to do your business beyond WhatsApp chats. There needs to be evidence of transactions going on. And so you look at the invoices, the receipts, and the payment vouchers, all very critical in tracking your business transactions. That said, I will move on to the next issue on that tracking your business transactions, right? So the other thing that you also need to understand is that there needs to be coordination. You need to begin to ensure that proper files are kept. And of course, you might not be able to do this personally. Add it to the work of your admin staff. Let them keep separate files. And so what are you keeping files for? You're keeping files for your invoices. You're keeping files for your sales receipts. You're keeping files for expenses. Even when you purchase assets, your generators, your fan, your television for the office, your furniture, your chair, your table, your computers, there needs to be a file that keeps track of assets that have been purchased in the business. Okay? Now, you also need to keep track of inventory purchase, because you want to be able to make references. By the time we bought this in 2018, we bought it from so vendor. What was it then versus now? Do we want to go back to that same vendor? Do we want to alter new vendors? Information is what drives business decision. And if you are not collating information properly and filing properly, it will derail the business, because you cannot make prompt decisions, at the snap of your fingers. You want to be able to easily retrieve information, and to be able to do that, you need to get your filing right. And like I said, external parties, tax regulators, they come from time to time wanting to see evidence of what's going on in your business. You need to be ready. All right. Now, for those of you who have mobile banking, and I think that you all should, mobile or online, you need to try and take advantage of your narration field. So when you're transferring money to Jovita, I don't just want to see Jovita's name. What was the money for? All right. So whether it's consultation, whether it's accounting, you narrate that purpose. It's easy to now use that information to prepare your accounts for you, because your accounts do not show people's names. It shows what activities. It shows activities. So when you want to track what has happened in your business, you want to be able to group them by activities. So the narration is able to support whoever needs to keep track of your accounting so that they know the purpose for which monies have gone out for. So if you're sending money to Shola and it was for the generator repairs, please put generator repairs in the narration, right? And so all of this is what to make things easy when it comes to tracking what has gone on in your business. I gave you 2 scenarios today, 2 different people, different parts of Lagos. I don't know where my money is going to. However, if you do all of these things, someone can come in, take them, and then show you where your money has gone to. And then you can now decide what you want to do with that information. Where are the places I need to stop spending excessively? And where are the places I need to start putting money into so that my business revenues can grow and my profits can be multiplied? Because I don't know why you're in business, but I believe that ultimately, in spite of all the social reasons, you still want to be able to make profit so that years down the line, you will still be in business. And trust me, you need to have your business profitable because whatever loans you might be getting, you're paying the loans back from what profit. If you are not making sufficient profits, then you'll be in an endless cycle of what? Robbing Peter to pay Paul. So you take money from ABC Bank, and then when it's time to pay, you go to XYZ Bank, collect the money, repay, and then you're in a loan cycle because what? Your business is not profitable. Loans are repaid from profits. Only way you can track your profits is by tracking your business numbers, by having your accounts properly done, by keeping track of your transactions, having source documents, filing properly so that information can easily be retrieved and put together in such a way that you can make decisions. And before we go today, I'm going to show you what I call your business report card. If you do not have that business report card, then you are just starting, because every month at least you must look at that report card to tell where you need to be. Even if you want to make a decision in terms of money you need to loan or money you need to get as a grant, you need to determine how it is even going to be utilized. And if you're not tracking your performance, that is it's impossible to utilize funds properly. Okay, so that said, I look at the pictorial representation. So this is what a sample invoice looks like. Many of you are familiar with invoices, but like I said earlier, it is not a proof of payment. It just evidences that the transaction has occurred, that you sent items out or you render the service. And then we also have what? A sales receipt issued when payment is received, right, from your customers. So please, let's get into the habit of issuing receipt. And then this is a sample payment voucher. Like I said, you can see here, prepared by, who approved it, who received it. So these are things, documents that should be utilized in your business so that your transactions are properly noted. Okay, so having said that, I want to now move very quickly to this. This here is something that I know many of us struggle with. Okay. Now, when have you really made profits? And that's what this is about to show us. When have you really made profits? Okay. There is something called gross profits and there's something called net profits. And like I said a few minutes ago, when you're looking to access funds, when you're looking to take money for your business, you want to even be able to tell, how is my business doing right now? Because any discerning investor or lender or benefactor will ask. It's not enough to say it's doing good. They want quantifiable metrics. They want to understand, okay, when you say it's doing good, what is this about? What is the gross profit like in a month? What is the net profit like? And then you can't say, which one is gross profit, which one is net profit? Then you are not yet ready. But you see, thank you for coming again today so that you can understand these things better. And if you've heard them before, it's validation that you are doing the right thing. Okay, so gross profit, I usually call it the first level profit. And there's an illustration that we'll get into in a few minutes to buttress this further. The gross profit is your first level of profit. The net profit is what is also known as what? Your bottom line. Okay, so how do you arrive at your gross profit? It is simply your sales minus your cost of sales. So take that down in your notes. My gross profit is my sales minus my cost of sales. So what is cost of sales, right? That is the amount I use to purchase the item that I am selling. So if I'm selling bags, how much did I purchase those bags? That's the cost of sale, right? If it's a service, now it could be slightly different. If you're rendering a service and then there was something you did that directly related to that transaction. Let's say, for instance, you had to hire a specific graphic artist for a work, for a creative that you wanted to do for a campaign. The person is not on your payroll, it's not a staff. But because of that particular campaign, you have to use that person's service. That person's service becomes what? A cost of sale. So when you want to determine your gross profit, you will say your sales minus my cost of sales, and then you get what? Your gross profit. But like I said to you, your gross profit is not the ultimate, but then it does tell you, okay, this is our first level of profit. If we didn't have any overheads, then we'll be very cool at this level. But in business, there are overheads. And like I said, that's where the real demon is, the overheads. All right, so overhead or indirect costs, they must be incurred whether or not revenue is generated. For instance, having an office right now, it doesn't matter to the landlord whether my customers patronize me or not. By April, I need to pay him his rent in full. That's an overhead, right? My staff are on salary basis, they're not on commission. I must pay them whether or not I get customers or not. That's an overhead. So overheads are incurred whether or not revenue is generated. So we said e.g. rent, salaries. And by the time I show you a sample report card, you see all the other kinds of overheads. You know, it can be, yes, it can actually be repairs and maintenance, and that's another monster in many businesses. People are spoiling your things up and down. You're spending money repairing generator, fuel, diesel, all those are overheads, right? Because you just need to keep power on whether people are patronizing you or not, because you want the place to be comfortable for yourself or your employees. So you need to keep track of your overheads, right? So that you even tell whether there are certain overheads you can control so that you can get more money in as what? Net profit. So again, just before I move here, gross profit is what? Sales minus cost of sales. Gross profit, sales minus cost of sales. And then what? Net profit is what? Gross profit minus overheads. And like I told you, your net profit is your bottom line. And what we will see in the next illustration is that you cannot be fixated on sales. Sales is good, but business is not just about what you make, it's about what you keep. Business is not just about what you make, it's about what you keep. And so for you to keep more, it means that you're either making far more sales or you're reducing your overheads as best possible without compromising the quality of your service. But when you have overhead that really you can't control, then it just tells you that, wow, we need to play bigger on sales so that at the end of the day, we have considerable profit retained in our business. I hope nobody has slept off on me. Well, very soon, the chat box needs to get busy. So this is an illustration. And in the next 2 minutes, I want you to just take your pen to paper and try and figure this out. I will be waiting. If I don't get answers, I will not continue talking. So this is for you to do. Aldo Enterprises, they sell laptops. The cost price of each laptop is 120,000 naira. Now, they sell each laptop for what? 180,000 naira per unit. So the cost price is the same thing as what? Cost of sales, which we were just told. Okay? And the selling price is what? 180,000 per unit. Now, in a month, the average number of units sold is 20 laptops. And the total overheads in a month is 700,000 naira. You are required, not me, you are required to determine the gross profit per unit, the monthly gross profit, the monthly net profits, the net profit per unit, and then also let me know whether Aldo will make net profit or loss if his overheads increase to 1,300 per month. So this is why I said you should drink water. So that So that you won't tell me now that, no, I don't understand. No, you understand. It's very, very easy. So let's take it one after the other. In the chat box, I want to see your answers for what gross profit per unit. I'm looking at the chat box now. I'm seeing some hot people here. Adiola, are you an accountant? Okay, Atta, Solomon, Jane. Okay. Awesome. So you people have gotten the concept of gross profit. Beautiful. 60,000 naira is the gross profit per unit. Laughing. Thank you so much for that. Good. So now the next thing, I want to take it a bit further. So tell me the gross profit for the entire month. Okay. So I want to see the gross profit for the entire month. Put it in the chat box because he sells 20 laptops in a month, right? Okay, I can see them. I can see some answers for gross profit for the month. Gross profit for the month is 1.2 million. That's correct. Thank you, Bola. Thank you, Kemi, Temitope, Esther. Oh, it's rolling, Michael. Awesome participants. Thank you for not sleeping on me. Beautiful. Keep going. 1.2 million. Right. So that's the gross profit for the month. And like I said, the gross profit is the first level of profit. You can't jubilate once you see gross profit because there is the monster overheads. Okay, so guys, let's do the monthly net profit. I want to see the monthly net profit now. Okay, some people are already giving me the monthly net profit. Fantastic. 500,000 is the monthly net profit. If you didn't get it, you have 1 or 2 minutes to go over that again. 500,000 is the monthly net profit. Beautiful. We said net profit is what? Gross profit minus overheads. Great. These business owners are hot. So now tell us the net profit per unit, because Aldo could decide to start dancing that he makes 60K on each laptop. That's not what he makes. It's not. 60K is not what you make. Oh, fantastic. I'm seeing the answers. 25,000 naira. Yes, that's what he's making on each laptop. And how did they get that? They divided the total net profit by the number of units sold in a month. Oh, it seems like my work here is done. But don't worry, I still have a few more minutes. Great, 25,000. So let's look at the last one. We're now saying if his overheads are now 1.3 million, how much net profit will he make in a month, or loss, as the case may be? Let's do, yes, number 5. I'm waiting for that. Loss, exactly. Oh my God, you'll be losing 100,000. That's it. So you now get to see that your difference between your profit and your loss is actually your overheads. Because when his overheads were at 700,000, he was making a decent net profit, quite decent. Right? So, but now he started making a loss because his overheads increased, and different things could increase your overhead. Maybe some miracle workers have come to you and say, hire us, we'll double your sales. If you are not checking, how will you know that the sales is even being doubled? So you now increase salary expenses and then nothing is happening. Because you are checking, you just tell them to pack their load and go. Month 1, month 2, month 3, my sales is static, and then I'm making a loss because I'm taking your overheads on. I'm sorry. Guys, you have to go because this is not a wise business decision. And so you now begin to understand why you must pay attention pay attention to your overheads. Exactly. Loss was as a result of increased overheads. So the question you want to ask yourself is, am I actually monitoring what's going on in my business? But you see, you can't monitor having everything in your head. No. You can't monitor by having things in your head. You need to be able to have them recorded so that you can easily retrieve that information. What I say to business owners is that at least once a month, spend, if it's 1 hour or 2, just look at your business performance. Right? Before you rush into the new month again, look at the business performance and see, what did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? So that you can make a change. 12 years is too long a time to detect, to understand that you have made bad decisions. Because some of you wait till the account is audited at the end of the year. Then you now, in fact, some of you don't even read the audited account, which is why you need to pay attention to your account as often as possible. Whether it is monthly, weekly, yes, you can't do weekly because people are pulling on every side, but at least spend that 2 hours at the beginning of a new month to check what happened in the previous month. So I think I've preached that gospel enough. Thank you so much for all your responses, amazing contributions there. All right, and so this is where I was going to, this is the report card. So my question to you is that, do you even see something like this at the beginning of the new month? This is what we call the statement of profit or loss. Let me see if I can put this in presentation mode so that it's yeah, so it fills up the screen. Yes, so this is it, right? KYC Enterprises statement of profit or loss for the year, for a particular month. Now, if you look at revenue, it's looking good, right? 1.2 million, and this is illustration, but trust me, this is what also happens in real life. So KYC Enterprises, because they've been putting together information, right? They've kept their sales invoices, their payment vouchers, their receipts. They're able to now put all of the information together and get this, what I call a report card, their statement of profit or loss. So they can see what it has turned to at the end of the day. And honestly, the truth of the matter is that you need a tool to help you do this, whether it's an Excel tool or a software. An accounting software is far better because copy and paste errors, you don't have to deal with that, like when you have to use an Excel sheet. But if the Excel sheet is where you want to start from, fine, but you must be able to look at something like this. So KYC, 1.2 million sales, it looks fantastic, right? But look at the bottom, 13,150. And then they will be saying that people are disturbing them from the village. No, losses are not miraculous or mysterious. You know, low profit is not mysterious. There are things that happened. So in between the revenue and the net profit, what happened? There was cost of sales, right? Items that were purchased, 580,000, or direct costs if it was a service business. Okay, and gross profit came to 620,000. It was looking good there, but then come and now see all the other demons that came in. Internet subscription, that was different. Then transportation, then salaries, 275 in a month, then repairs and maintenance, then fuel and diesel, 102,250, then rent, 150,000. Of course, at the end of the day, only 13,000. That's even less than 1% of the sales. If this person even decides to borrow money now, and net profit margin is this low, how will they pay? How will they pay? Whew. So you just need to be saying something like this in your business, right? So when I say mastering your business numbers, it's a journey, right? We came from your source documents, understanding gross profit, net profit, and we came to this point where I can tell that, whoa, yes, I'm making sales of 1.2 million, but I'm only retaining 13,150 in a month. No wonder I'm frustrated. So in this case, if this was my business, the first things I want to even say is, wow, rent of 150,000, that's what 1.8 million in a year. Must I stay in this place? Is it really doing anything for me fantastic? Can't I go to another location where I'll probably pay 600,000 a year? If I'm paying 600,000 a year, this rent figure drops drastically per month to 50,000. That means there's 100,000 that has gone back into my profit. So I'll be retaining 113,000 in a month, far better. So you can't make those decisions if you are not sane, which is why I grew up in Adenrogusoya. And this year, one business is here, the next year is no more there. Another business has come up because they didn't even think about the impact of the rent when they were going in. It just looked like a fine place. Let's take it. And then year two, they can't pay again because they didn't understand the correlation between the expenses and the revenue. I know I sound like a preacher, but you see, I'm all about us having businesses that can continue in perpetuity. And it's about making informed decisions, enough of going with the wind, right? You want to see impact. You want to make impactful decisions. You want your decisions to move you forward and not backward, which is why you're looking at this report card. That's why. All right. So I'm just giving you a few decisions that I could make with this. So that was rent, just rent. The other thing is fuel and diesel. I'll go back and think, okay, what exactly do we need to do? Do we need to, would it be better for us to get an inverter? Would that now reduce the monthly cost? You know, those kind of things. But if you didn't see, then you will not be able to do all of this. Now, let's even imagine that you can't change any of these things, but you will now see that, whoa, 1.2 million sales is not enough for us. So if we want to do better, we probably need to up this figure to about what, maybe 1.8 million monthly. Yes. So imagine that you can't change any of these things. The rent, you have to be there because that's where all your other competitors are, and you need to be able to be seen in the market with your other competitors. Then it means that your marketing game has to change so that you can retain net profit. But like I said, if you weren't checking, you wouldn't know what decisions you need to make. And so that is why Warren Buffett says accounting is the language of business. You can write out in your notebook, accounting is the language of business. And so when I come to you and you tell me, oh, my business is doing good, I want to know, what was your sales last month? Bring out your report card. All right, so what was your net profit? And you show me this, I'm like, more needs to be done. If I give you money now, how are you going to turn that into increased revenue and retain enough profit to be able to pay me back in another 1 year? Okay, so I hope you are still happy with me. I have just about 7 more minutes. What do I want to talk about in that time? The next report card, this one, your balance sheet, right? Also known as statement of financial position. And it simply tells you what you own versus what you are owing, okay? So you have current assets, non-current assets, as well. All these things, you can still go and read them up because you might not be, you can't go into all of the details, but I'm trying to point you in the direction of the things you need to start doing for your business. So in this place, let me tell you what I'm particular about. I'm particular about accounts payable. Accounts payable has to do with people you are owing, right? Vendors you bought things from that you have not yet paid, or you use the service, maybe your lawyer, you use the service and you've not yet paid, and all of that, they come under accounts payable, all right? And then it shows you the assets that you have, right? And it shows the net income you've made over time since the beginning of the year, your retained earnings, the members' equity, that's the amount you introduced into the business. But so here we look at cash at bank. Today is 350,000 naira. Imagine that Hakim now gives me money. Well, not Hakim Shah, LSETF. LSETF gives me money. Maybe 2 million comes into my bank account. Hey, I'm happy, right? See, when that 2 million comes and this balance now increases to 2,350,000, the first thing isn't for you to go and buy yourself a ticket to Dubai because you have suffered so much and you want to go and rest. You have 1.4 million that you need to clear, people that you are owing. Do you understand? But if you didn't see this, you will just think that the money has come in for you to enjoy yourself. Okay? And so I know that as business owners, there is a discipline struggle. But I like to say that discipline is not a dirty word. You need discipline to sustain the business. You need discipline to grow your business. You need discipline to meet your obligations. You need discipline to move from where you are to your dream place. You need discipline. And so we need to begin to understand the concept of delayed gratification. Very, very important. All right. But you see, all of these report cards that I've showed you allows you to be able to see where exactly money needs to go to, what changes you need to make. And like I told you, you need to try and get a tool to help you deal with all of this because you can't do it on your own. You just can't. You just can't. And so very quickly now before I end, I want to just tell you a bit about managing your business cash flow, okay? Let me just throw that in quickly. In managing your business cash flow, I talked earlier about paying yourself a salary. Now, I have an article online called The Survival Budget Irritation. It was published by Business Day. I'm going to copy it and put it on the chat box now, because I want you to go and read that, will I say, your reading material. Your reading material. Yes, that's the link. Copy it. Go back and look at that particular document. It's online. So, yes, so look at the survival budget irritation. Okay, so that you can better understand some of these things. So, as a business owner, you need to work on a budget that will become your salary. So, you need to go and find out what you spend on yourself, that becomes your salary. And then if you notice that the business cannot pay you that salary, it means that you need another job. But don't try to force your business to pay you. You create a cash flow crunch. Okay, then the business itself needs a budget. People shouldn't come to you and just be asking for money anyhow. No, no, no. Have a plan. In fact, some businesses I work with, they have dedicated days when they pay. So if we not put you in the plan to pay you on the 16th when we pay, if you have two days in the morning, the 16th and the 30th, please, you wait for the next payment cycle. We have planned how we are spending our money, except it's an emergency. But emergencies don't come every day. So if emergencies are happening every day, it means that you're not planning properly. So have a plan in terms of how the business wants to spend money. And then receivables, convert receivables to sales. So if you are giving credit sales to your customers, then you want to monitor and ensure that your customers turn that sales to cash quickly before you have to pay your own suppliers. If your supplier is giving you 20 days, you can't be giving your own customers 20 days. It's either you do cash and carry with your customers or you give them 10 days maximum. Otherwise, again, you will have cash flow issues. Okay? And then loan repayment plans. Understand the repayment plan of whatever loans you are collecting so that you ensure that you are paying on time. Avoid diversion pitfalls. When I was in the bank, we gave out several MSME loans. It was Diamond Bank at the time, without collateral, as much as 5 million. And some of these business owners did not use it for what we gave them for. So we saw them going to buy brand new, not brand new, Tokumbo cars because they deserve it. Yes, they deserve it, but that's not the purpose for the money. We gave you money to put into purchasing more goods. By the time you purchase more goods, you can get more revenue that will ultimately become more profit. But you are now taking it to buy a car. How is that car going to turn to profit? So those are some of the things you need to think about in managing your business cash flow, in dealing with your business finances. And so I think that the next steps really will be going over the notes from this session, okay? Decide on an efficient tool you want to use to track the transactions, not physical notebooks. See, your phone contacts, they are digitized. They're in a phone, and then you even back them up in the cloud. So you're very, very IT savvy when it comes to your phone contact. So why won't you invest in a tool for your business? That's for you to answer. But I'm just saying that you need to begin to be honest with yourself in terms of moving your business forward. And then finally, yes, follow us on Instagram. We're at Funded BK. So you can get several finance and accounting tips that you can deploy in your business. And so on that note, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have been able to convince you and not confuse you on the need to properly track your business numbers, on the need to give attention to your accounting and gain a mastery of your business numbers. Thank you so much. It has been my utmost pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the session. I will wait for you in the question and answer session. Fumi, I guess you can take it away. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. I have my book filled. I've written a lot. I mean, I have jotted a whole lot, getting my numbers right. I believe we all need to give Jovita a round of applause. I want to see it in the chat box, please. I want to see us clapping for Jovita in the chat box. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We all appreciate the presentation, tracking your business transaction, noting your transaction, your sales and your cost of sales gives you your gross profit. I am sure everyone on this session must have jotted down a whole lot that will go a long way for their businesses. And I hope that we are not just the hearer, but also the doer, because putting all of this information into your business, trust me, would help your business grow a whole lot. So on this note, thank you very much, Jovita. We definitely have a lot of questions, but I would like to introduce our next speaker. And after his presentation, then we have questions for both speakers at the same time. So thank you very much, Jovita. Next, now we would be having Dr. Akim Onosanya, who is the special advisor to the board chairman of Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. He would be taking us through the LSETF grant program, the MSME grant program 2.0. And I'm sure we all want to have a lot of information on this, because this part is also good for what we have learned from Jovita. So everything we've learned from Jovita, we are putting into practice in this, our next presentation. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Akim. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Fumi. Can you hear me for me so that I can be sure that I'm not talking to myself? Okay, someone says I'm audible. Okay, so thank you very much, and I must say thank you very much to Jovita. That was a very insightful session. At least for me, at least one thing that I took away is you need to be intentional about your business, and the most important thing is that your business is not just a survival tool for you. It's something that you will be serious with and you want to expand. So thank you very much for doing. Sorry for the practical insights. I don't know how it was interesting how almost 1.2 million or so, it came down almost to less than how much. And then, like you said, not everything is village people. Sometimes you are the same people doing yourself from the village. So thank you very, very much. So I will be talking about the Lagos MSME Recovery Fund, and it is important in this session because it also ties to bookkeeping. For those that remember, this time last year, I think as at today last year, a lot of miscreants went around Lagos State destroying businesses, and they destroyed businesses across local governments in Lagos. And in order to support small businesses, we launched the Lagos MSME Recovery Fund 1.0. During that, using that particular grant program, it is a grant because the money was given to these businesses and they were not supposed to return it. Okay, I think maybe what I'm going to do is I'm coming. Let me switch. Let me move my earbuds and talk directly. Okay, so if you can hear me now, please let me know. I think I'm also following the chat box to know if I can be heard clear. So like I said, we supported businesses that were affected by NSAS, and I think we got over 4,000 applications, and we supported close to 2,000 businesses that were affected by NSAS, and this was a grant. And when I mean a grant, it means that this money was given to these businesses to go and recover, to go and rebuild their businesses and ensure that we do not have people being laid off from their jobs. But then COVID happened, and then we saw that small businesses were still trying to recover from the effects and the impact of COVID on their businesses. And that is why we launched the Lagos MSME Recovery 2.0. We were very overwhelmed with applications because in 10 days or so, we got over 13,193 applications from small businesses. And I must say thank you very much to small businesses residents in Lagos for applying for that grant. And I would say again, that grant is meant to support your businesses. That grant is not meant to prepare for dirty December, or it is not there for you to ensure that you are ready to ball in the ember months. So now, for people who have applied, I'm going to educate us on the next steps. Most importantly, relating to your book. So there were 3 main questions that we asked in that application. One, we said, how has your business been affected? We gave 3 major responses. One was inability to meet your loan obligations. Now, please understand this, that We will not just look at everybody that has applied and then say you can have some money. No, we need to first verify that you're even a business. Not because we don't trust you, but because we need to do due diligence. So one, you must even be a business. Two, your business must be you must be in Lagos. You cannot be doing business from another state and then be able to access this grant. So we need to verify that. Three, we need to now verify your particular claim of how your business has been disrupted or how it has been affected by the economic effects of COVID-19. So the first one, like I said, is inability to meet your loan obligations. Now, these loan obligations, now in terms, so I'm going to relate this back to keeping your books. It means that you must be able to show us evidence of collecting or receiving a loan from a financial institution. That means that you must have a record somewhere of this amount of money came in from this particular financial institution at this particular time and with a particular rate. So was this loan at 3%? Was it at 4% per month? Was it at 5% per year? We need to know that. One. Two, you need to understand. So that is also very important in keeping your book. So you don't just say, the money entered my account one time like that. They gave me that loan one time like that. One time like that is not a date. Two, you need to show us clearly that you haven't been paying that loan before. Because it's not as if you go and collect loan yesterday and then you now come and say you cannot pay. No. There needs to be evidence of the fact that, that there is some transfer of money from your business to the account that is being used to pay back that loan. And then the next thing is that you also need to show us how much is left. Now, how much is left is not just how much is left from the amount you got, because when it comes to a loan, there are two basic parts of the loan. There is the principal, which is the amount that you requested. For example, you took a loan of 1 million naira. That is the principal. There's also an interest, which is the amount you are paying on that 1 million. So if you get a loan of 10% interest rate, it means that you're going to repay back 1.1 million in the stipulated period of time. You must show us that you started paying that money. You did not collect loan because you just needed money. You must show that happened. So you need to also have in your books evidence of paying back that loan. Also in your books, how much is left. But the most important thing is evidence in your books, the reason why you cannot keep paying. Because you cannot show us your books and you have 2.5 million naira in your account according to your business, and then you are owing a bank 1 million naira. My brother, why are you going to transfer the money? You're waiting for us to come and dash you free money? No. So, and that is for that particular category. So while that is supposed to support you in paying back a loan that you collected, but the reason why we are supporting is because we know, for example, you collected a loan and then COVID happened, inflation happened, you could not get your customers. Maybe, for example, you collected a loan to build a new restaurant, for example, and then lockdown happened, and people could not even come out of their houses to come and eat. It means that you won't be able to pay back your loan, but that is a reason. So, and these things must be clear. It has to show from your revenue that your revenue has reduced drastically, that you cannot even remove part of that to go and pay your loan. If you see your books and you see that your revenue was coming at 400,000 naira per month, but you're moving 300,000 to go and buy the new iPhone, or we saw 400,000 removed to go and do the next kind of hair, then it means that you're not even serious about this loan. You will not be the one to come and aid that indiscipline with regards to your business. Now that is one. So the next category is, and that category that people would have filled, is inability to restock. Now, inability to restock means that, for example, if you were buying, let me look at let's look at a fashion entrepreneur. Maybe what you do is you sell hair, and then you buy each bundle of hair. Let's say you are buying it for 10 naira before, and that 10 naira you were always buying 100 bundles of hair, which means that you were spending 1,000 naira to buy those 10. Now, inability to restock then means that because of the inflation now, because of the economy now, with 1,000 naira you can only buy 12 bundles. So even with that same amount, you are buying less. It means that your business is affected because you cannot get enough revenue from 12. So your revenue has reduced, not because you don't have money, but because the value of the money that you used to make has reduced. Then we will now come in and say, okay, how do we support you in buying more so that at least your revenue can continue increasing? This means that you must show us evidence of how you used to buy 100 with 1,000 naira. How you now use, how that 1,000 naira is now giving you just 12 or just 20. So if you used to say, when I used to buy it, they don't used to give me receipt, they used to give me invoice. The person are my guy, you know what we do. Follow me go market, you go see. I don't have time to follow you to the market. Nobody's going to follow you to your vendor and go say, hello, what she's saying true. So you must show us evidence in writing, that this is the amount you used to buy with X amount of money. This is the amount you are buying with that same amount of money. So while this is a grant, this grant is for people who actually deserve it. So please, between now and when we would come and visit you, please get those things together. So now, that's what we're going to look at to verify to verify inability to restock. Now, the next question that we asked is inability to meet operations. See, I always go back to that example of revenue. Now, if you look at the slide, remember the slide that Jovita presented, there's a part of it that says rent. Now, at that point, you were making, the revenue was about, I think, over 1 million naira or so. And then rent was taking about 250,000. Now, imagine that revenue reduces. Let me pull up the presentation and get what you got now. Total revenue is 1.2. Total revenue is 1.2. Now, imagine that revenue reduces to 500,000 naira. If that revenue reduces to 500,000 naira, it means that you will not be able to meet your operations costs. It means that you will not be able to meet your rent, to pay your rent. Even staff salary will become a problem. So that means that you must show us evidence that your revenue that's from sales has actually reduced, and that is why you can no longer pay for rent, you can no longer buy diesel in your generator. But if you are saying that things hard, everything hard, nobody say you no say things hard. I have to see evidence that things are hard. You must show me from your books that whoever is coming to come and visit you, that this is how much I used to make 2 years ago. I used to make 1.2 million naira. Now I am only making 500,000 naira, and my cost of operation is 600,000. Even that I'm even making a loss of 100,000. Then we'll not say, okay, this is the amount that we want to give you to support that business. So the people that would be eligible for this grant are people who over time have adopted the principles taught by Jovita in keeping their books. Now, so I think I've explained the inability to restock. I've explained the inability to pay your loans and operations. So I'm going to go over it one more time. So for people who are just joining, who don't understand. Now, there are three main reasons why we are supporting, why the grant is going to be given to you. One is the principal reason is that your business operations, your business has been affected by COVID. Now that business has started before COVID. Now you don't just come and start the business 2 weeks ago and say you're applying for grants. Which business? Let's not discuss with ourselves. So that business must be in operations before. That business must be on a particular trajectory before. It must be going a particular way before. That business was even enough to even buy you your iPhone 13 before. Now, that is one criteria. That business must be existing before now. Then it's the only business that is existing before now that can be affected by COVID. So now being affected by COVID is now 3 areas. 1, inability to restock, inability to pay your loans back, and 3, inability to meet your operations. Now, inability to restock means that you used to take 100,000 naira to buy 100 bundles of hair, because one hair is 10 naira before COVID. And you know that every month you buy 100 bundles. But because of COVID now, that 1,000 naira, because of inflation, which means that prices have increased, you no longer can buy 100 bundles, or maybe you're now buying, let's say, 30, even with the same amount of money. That then means that because of that, you can only sell 30. Now, the money you're going to make from 30, therefore the money you're going to make from selling 100, your income has reduced. If your income has reduced, your business is definitely slowing down. That is the explanation of inability to restock. Now, evidence of that is that you must show us either via an invoice, either a receipt, that this is the amount that you used to take to the market to buy this. But today, for the past few weeks, or for the past few months, that same amount, you must show us that same amount can only buy 30. That's the only way we can say we can support it. Don't tell us, I'm begging you, that say things hard. Okay, maybe we'll go markets. Follow me, go my supplier. Not be say I be lying. We are not saying you are lying. We are saying show us the evidence. The second one is inability to pay your loans back. Inability to pay your loan back means that you collected a loan from a financial institution. Please, this is not a loan from my brother or my cousin. A loan from a financial institution. Now, that loan, you must also show us the bank that give you the loan, either a commercial bank or a microfinance bank, because they're the only ones who are allowed to give you. Now, you must also let us know how much you collected. What is the interest rate on those loans? Now, don't go and manufacture a bank in your head. We are going to verify every bank you tell us. Commercial bank. If you don't know the address, don't put it here. So the loan you collected, the interest rate on that particular loan, how much you've been paying. Now, you're not collecting a loan. You collected the loan since 2020. You've not even paid any kobo. You should come and help you. Help you to do what? It means you're even a bad loan person in the first place. You must have even been paying that loan before now. But then you will now show us that, see, I was paying the loan because I was making this amount of money every month. So when I make 100,000 every month, I remove 40,000 naira to pay the loan, the remaining from my operations. But now I am only making 25,000 naira per month. I cannot even pay that loan back. We'll now say, okay, how do we support you to pay what is left of that loan? So don't forget, evidence of collecting of that loan from a recognized bank. Not be our neighbor, they do loan business, now you give me the loan. That is, he doesn't own a bank. 2, you must be paying that loan. Not a loan that you collected and you just kept in your account and say, when I blow, I will. So those are quite important. Now, the next one is inability to meet your operations. From the example that Jovita gave of making 1.2 million naira per month or per year, and then you have your operations, your cost. Now, if you were making 1.2 million naira per year before, and then your rent, and then you were able to pay your rent, maybe your rent was 400,000 naira and the likes. Now, because of COVID, because there are no more customers, you are only making 350,000 naira per month. Brothers and sisters, you know that it's going to be difficult to pay back that particular, to buy that particular fuel or pay your rent, because your income is lesser than it was before. It's not even enough to even pay that rent. That is what we want. So evidence of your rent. Not my landlord said I'm paying this amount last week, because we must show evidence that, okay, this is the amount you are paying as rent. I used to pay my rent before because I used to make this amount of money. But now I can no longer pay my rent because I do not make some amount of money. So those are the 3 major categories. Now this is important because we are going to be sending consultants to everyone who has legitimately applied. Some of you applied 10 times, some of you applied 15 times. God is looking at all of you. It doesn't mean that we'll give you times 10 of the money you ask for. It doesn't mean that you will get money 10 times. We will remove all the duplicates. So please, next time, don't apply more than once. So we'll come and visit every business. Like I said, it must be an existing business, not a business that you started last week. And the like, that is quite important. So this is, in summary, this is important to this seminar because we are going to be confirming your books that we assume that you have been keeping. Please don't tell us, say, brother, you know, say things hard. We know say things hard, but show us evidence. Show us your books so that we can know where the pain areas are and we can actually have evidence of disruption. At this point, we'll be answering questions. Thank you very much for your time. I think I can hand over to Fumi. Once again, the recovery fund is here to support you, but please, we'll be looking out for evidence from the books that you have kept over time. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Akim. I believe everyone here now understands what our MSME Recovery Fund stands for, what we intend to achieve, and how they can be able to apply what they need to have, the documentation and every other thing. Thank you so much for this information you just shared. Thank you for all of that presentation. I'm sure everybody here has written down all of those things. Can we please give Dr. Akim a round of applause on the chat box? I'm sure you all want this money. He's the managing director of the money. Start clapping for him, start clapping. Thank you very, very much, Akim. That was a very good one. And I'm sure everybody would right now start getting their documentation right. And I'm sure all of what Jovita has also shared with us, we would put all this together, work on it. All we want at LSCTF is that while we are funding your businesses, you are also having this information to help your business growth. I mean, the business ecosystem in Lagos, the growth of the business ecosystem in Lagos is what we want. We want it to attain a great height, because when the business ecosystem is growing well, then Lagos itself is growing, because the economy drives the state itself. And when we have everything right in the state as well, everything is fine. Poverty will be a thing of the past. If your business is good, is booming, you definitely employ more hands. The more you employ more hands, the more we are achieving our mandate of enabling job creation. And so that is why we put all of this program together to see to it that we help your business grow with so many informations that we bring to you. We have our speakers that come all the way, put their slides together. All of this they do for you on pro bono, just to help you to get your business act right. Thank you very much, Jovita. Thank you very much, Akim, once again. We will be going to the question and answer session. And trust me, we have a lot of it, a whole lot of it. We have for you, Jovita, we have for you, Akim, as well. So let me start by taking it one after the other. Somebody here, Elizabeth, says, I am into business runs. Do I need to give out receipts to my customers? I think that's for Jovita to answer.
The answer is yes. I'm not here to give you a way out. That's the right thing to do. So please find a way to start doing it, except you just want to remain in that state forever. I'm talking to people who I believe want to move from where they are to a higher place. And you can only do that when you put the structures in place from the beginning. Don't wait till you are big. If you are big, everything collapses because you've not put structure and you can't grapple with the too many things that start coming along your way. So it's not a function of your size, it's a function of what is necessary. What do I need to do? And do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jovita. So I have Yusuf here asking if it's very necessary to do all business transactions having records of it, that is, record bookstore. For instance, in situations where you can't record the business transactions you are at the moment, how best can you advise? Yes, from Yusuf.
Well, if you are too busy, get help, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Look at all the big brands you love, your Apple, your Samsung and all of that. Do you think they don't record transactions? And they didn't start doing it because they got big. I followed closely the story of the founder of Nike, Phil Knight, okay? From the onset, he hired someone to handle his accounting. And nobody knew them then, nobody knew Nike then. So it was not that they became big and they started keeping track of their transactions. So he couldn't do it himself because he had a full-time job while also trying to start Nike, because Nike could not support him. personal in terms of his personal welfare. So he hired someone to ensure that all the transactions were kept. And by the time they needed to scale up, all right, the Japanese company who helped them wanted to look at their books, and it was not a problem because it had been kept from the beginning. So if they were not ready, that's an opportunity they would have lost. So I'm saying to you, you make out the time, you make out the time. And if you can't do it on your own, get help, get a friend, get a sister. If you don't want to pay for it, get somebody that you can give something to in return, but ensure it gets done. Yeah.
Thank you, Jovita. Thanks for that response. So Isaiah wants to know if tax payment forms part of overhead to determine his net profit. Okay, did you get that, Jovita?
Yes.
So Isaiah wants to know if tax payments is supposed to be considered to determine his net profits. Thank you.
Yes, and it's a function of the kind of tax, okay? So I tell people, for instance, number one, VAT, value-added tax, that's not an expense. It's not your money, you're collecting it on behalf of the government. So that impacts your balance sheet, it's a liability, okay? However, when it comes to things like company income tax, well, you can't even determine that until the end of the year. But when you determine company income tax, yes, it does reduce what your net profit will be. And so that's why you will now have something called profit before tax, and then there will now be profit after tax. So the final thing after the tax will be what your net profit is. So income taxes will impact your statement of profit. So that answers that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jovita. So this question is for Dr. Akim. He says, for those of us that purchase from a market like Moshi that don't issue receipts, we have handwritten snaps or something to show for it? Does this suffice?
Well, that is quite understandable. We don't expect the woman that sells pepper to you in K2 market to give you receipts. Even the receipts will be so wet by the time you get home. But at least you should be able to have a record somewhere in your shop that shows that X amount of money was buying X amount of things at a particular time. And that X amount of money is now buying this amount of goods at a particular time. So if you can show us as a receipt to show us that, fine. If you know that where you buy, you don't have receipt, but you can record and show us, not a problem. That's fine.
Thank you very much, Akim. And someone also here wants to know if he has a statement of accounts, and can that suffice as well? That's Aderonke. She says, what if the business has a statement of accounts? Can it stand as an evidence if it suffices?
So the statement of accounts has a lot of information. The question is evidence for what? So we will also, suppose when you have that, we will also help you check it and look for what we are looking for. But a statement of account means at least you are going a step further in ensuring that you record every transaction. But at least the beautiful thing is, before we come now let me say that before the visit will happen, before our clients come and visit you, they will call you. So we're not coming like a thief in the night. No, we'll let you know that when are we coming. You let us know when you should come. For people who have physical shops, we visit at your shop. For people who work from home, let us know where to meet you. Because you might work from home doesn't mean you don't run a business. You look for where to, to meet you. And then you will now show us. So if you know you clicked loan wahala when you were filling your form, start keeping your books now. If you know you clicked difficulty in stocking, start keeping your. Don't give us 35 pages document and say, go and look for it yourself. Now you want to give me money. We don't have that time. We have over 10,000 applicants. So make it easy for us by showing us exactly what you show. Don't now say you clicked on you chose loan repayment issues. They're now showing us issues with the stocking. Brother, choose one problem. And whatever one you choose, keep your books before we come. It makes it easier for us and also easier for you. It means that we can verify you on time. We can give you offer letter, come and collect your money on time. If you give us all your documents since you were born, we will spend the next 3 months looking at it and your money will not come out on time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Jovita, I have like 6 people here that are asking for either your social media handles or how they can get in touch with you. Would you like to put that in the chat
Yeah,
box?
I'll put that in the chat right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Dr. Akin, somebody is asking that he applied twice through the link and he got an email once. And he'd like to know if he has issues with his application or his application is good.
Okay, so one thing is very clear from also what we have observed in-house, that people applied, not, I'll have used multiple is small. Someone applied, I saw one name that applied 15 times. One person 15 times. Later, you about to say later, as soon as the person submits, he was doing it again. Now, we would delete all duplicates and leave just one application. Now, if you had gotten an email, it shows that your application was successfully submitted and we have gotten it in-house. So if you applied 2 times and you got email for once, it means that we got one application and the likes. And if you applied multiple times, please be assured that we are going to delete everything and keep only one. Multiple application does not mean that we'll give you money multiple times. It doesn't mean that we'll multiply your grant by 5 because you applied 5 times. No. We assume that it was a mistake on your end and we shall help you to clean it up. So the email is important. Some of you do not have access to the email you used to apply. Well, we cannot help you with that in that regard. Just hope that so far as you applied at the time, the application is with us. And if you can access your email, just double check again that you got an email verification.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that, Akim. I have one last question for Jovita, and it's from Adekunle Aderibigbe, which says, when I am charged VAT on invoice and the customer does not pay me, but end up withholding tax, do I still remit the VAT? That's one. And he also said, in a situation where my business annual turnover falls under small businesses that do not need to remit tax, that do not need to remit below 10 million, do I still need to charge VAT?
Okay, so this is the way I see it. At the start of the year, you really don't know what your turnover is going to be before the end of the year. So what if you are not charging VAT and the year ends and you now did 26 million, which is over the 25 million threshold? So that's still like a gray area that in terms of implementation, the tax experts and the administrators have yet to fully fine tune. So what I do and I advise people is put in your VAT and then remit it. What's important is that you are remitting it. It's not that you collected the VAT and then you didn't remit it. So if you go into a restaurant today, there's VAT inclusive. They really don't know if you're going to do up to 25 million in a year. They hope to, but they've already included it in your bill anyway, and they must remit it because regulators always check. All right, so that's on the one hand. And then he says if the person withheld the tax, withholding tax and VAT are 2 different things, so let's not mix it up. By the time they come on a VAT audit to you, you are not going to say to them they held withholding tax, so I didn't remit VAT. They are 2 different things. So you must remit your VAT, and whoever is withholding your withholding tax, ask the person for a credit note so that you can use that to offset your income tax when time comes. So whoever is withholding tax is obligated to give you a credit note or send you the link that you can download the credit note from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jovita. Thank you. So Bama Etim has a question for Akim. It says, is a company duly registered in January and affected by COVID eligible to apply for the grants? Dr. Akim.
Okay, thank you. There is a difference between when your company was or your business was registered and when you started the business. A lot of Nigerians start business 1 or 2 years down the line, they remember that they're not registered and they go straight to go and register. Now, we're not, so your date of registration does not, for us, it doesn't mean that is when the business started. So there are 2 different things. for every business that has applied, we advise that you please go and get your business registered. It doesn't mean that if you don't, we will not give you money, but it might get to a point where we will please ask. So, and nowadays it is very easy to get your CAC registration. It will get to a point in the NSCTF where we would say no registration of businesses, no eligibility for any of our programs. But for now that we can accommodate you, we advise that you please go and get your business registered. It is very, very easy. So far as your business has track record before COVID, it has been happening before now. You were seeing progress. You were even going to buy Benz with the business before COVID happened. And then Keke Napep is even difficult for you to buy. But at least there was what you call it? That was prospect before COVID. Not a business that started 2 months ago, 3 months ago. What evidence are you able to show us that you were existing even before then? Yeah.
Thank you for that, Dr. Akim. And almost the last. So this person is asking that our business was closed down due to COVID. She could not cope, and she wants to know if she can still apply for these grants. Thank you.
Well, if you can still apply, unfortunately, the application for the grants opened on October 1st and closed on the 15th of October. So the application is no longer receiving new entries. I'm really very sorry for that. Next time, please stay tuned to all our social media platforms so you can know when we are dishing out any of our grants or our business support programs.
Thank you very much. So the last one for Dr. Akim, before we round up the Q&A session, it says that Mr. Akim, are loans from cooperative society recognized in assessing the grants?
Yes, loan from cooperative society would be would be accepted so far as it's a duly recognized cooperative society. Not me and my neighbor doing first to collect, second to collect, third to collect. That is not a cooperative society. That is just your friends trying to help yourselves. If it's a recognized cooperative society, no problem. But if it's one that you started saying, I'll collect January, collect February, pay on, that is just a humanitarian approach to solving financial issues.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akim. So on this note, for those that have been asking consistently in the Q&A, if they would be getting the slides and the recorded version of this presentation and this session, yes, we would be sending out the slides and the recorded video to all the participants on this session. And on this note, we say thank you all very much. But before we go, we need to know that we had impacted you today. On that note, I want to see in the chat box if you have been impacted. Say your thank you to Jovita, thank you to Dr. Akim, thank you to LSETF. I need to see that in the chat box so that next time we will be coming with a banger that would also be very, very impactful. Yes, I see you. Thank you very much. Yes. I also feel this has been very impactful, very insightful, and very interactive. Thank you all very much. Yes, thank you so much. On this note, Jovita Madojemo, thank you so much for your time. It has been a very, very insightful one. And Dr. Akim, we appreciate your being on the session for the clarity. Thank you all so much. Do enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful one. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.